And now, coming to you from the Pensado Media Center, powered by Westlake Pro.
Producer and engineers panel from Gear Expo today, the vibe, the fun, all the information, plus a Meet the Maker, and another super duper kick butt mix contest from Indaba and Converse Rubber Tracks. Sharpen your tools, meet Jesus on the Mainline, and win some cool stuff, please. You're at the place. It's Pensado's place.
How's your mom and them? We're back from Nashville.
What? No, it was a fried pickle kind of opening. I'm with it, brother. Shit.
Hey man,
How's
I was
your
down
mom
there for
and
10 days. Something kind of wore off.
That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, so good to be back here at the Media Center. How about you, buddy?
So good to be over the Nashville two-step too. And we all had the Nashville two-step. That's another story entirely.
There's an Into the Lair in there somewhere.
It was. The lair was there is. Shall we go past this and move on?
Let's get out of this quickly.
Hey gang, our favorite time of the week, which is to be in your company. Thanks for being there. Thanks also to the best partners in the world, Blackbird Academy, Vintage King, Avid, Lander, DTS, Fab Factory, Recording Connection, and Studio 202 DC. All right, all you mixing and producing and engineering wonderkins, it is time for another great mix contest from us, Indaba, and Converse Rubber Tracks. You are going to enjoy this one. Last one, you guys absolutely smoked. It was really incredible.
That was a good one.
And this one is even better. The track is from a band called Jesus on the Mainline. And, well, why don't we meet them in just a minute? But here are the details of the contest. So, attention, please. So, we're going to do it this way. Contest starts November 1st and is open for submissions until November 29th. Voting will take place from November 29th to December 13th. Winners will be announced December 27th, 2 days after Christmas. Now, I'm going to tell you about the prizes in a minute, but first I want you to meet the band. Here is Tim and Andrew, very cool guys.
Very cool.
From Brooklyn Academy. They're in Aaron Bastinelli's thing at Converse Rubber Tracks. Meet Jesus on the Mainline. Hey guys, we are here with Jesus on the Mainline. We've got Tim and Andrew. What's happening, guys? Welcome.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
Hey,
So the fun part about this relationship with Indaba and Converse Rubber Tracks is we always meet really cool bands that are doing really cool things and then get a chance to sort of get that out to lots of folks who then get involved. From you guys' end, what is the benefit of contests like this for you?
I think the exposure of this wonderful song that Tim took the lead writing is what's really fantastic about it for us, and being able to see maybe some creative inroads that people that take part in the contest make that maybe we wouldn't have thought about. I think is something I'm looking forward to hearing. What all these people are going to do with their music is going to be kind of fun to hear.
Yeah.
If one of the mixes turns out to be really great, would you consider releasing it?
That's the $24,000 question right there.
Well, I tell you where that's relevant is about 2 years ago, we did the same thing, not with Indaba, but kind of our own version of our theme. And we wanted to see what would come back in remix versions of the theme because we wanted to keep the continuity of the theme, but maybe refresh it. And we came really close to certain things, but you guys know as creative people, it's got to hit you really correctly and knock you over the head. You can't sort of do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. And I think with this particular band, this project, it's a large ensemble, and we have a lot of people coming from kind of the jazz background and the rock background, and a lot of different ideas. So we keep the creative process pretty open within the group. And by the time we get something to the point of having it fully written, revised, however we're going to do it, tracked, mixed, mastered, we've already had a lot of hands, a lot of fingerprints and stuff on it. It's kind of like by the time anything gets to the point of getting released, at least, for Jesus on the Mainline, it's already kind of been crowdsourced a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just such a big group.
You guys are a crowd.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's that's definitely part of the creative process, and I think part of that keeps us real flexible. You know, if we were knocked on the head by something that came, you know, from a contest like this, or from the, you know, the Converse sample library or something, you know, there's I don't think we've really come across anything thus far that's really off limits. You know, at
Well,
least in our group.
What's really cool, because it sounds like the impetus of the band is collaboration. Like it's a community that kind of puts in input. That's how we run the show, the same way. Where did the name come from? Where did the idea come from? Where did you find the players? Give us the thumbnail on Jesus on the Mainline.
It began a couple years ago as a means to play music with friends.
Yeah.
The name came about after like a Saturday afternoon surfing on SoundCloud, and I kept coming across versions of the tune Jesus on the Mainline.
Mm-hmm.
One was like a duo indie Brooklyn band, and one was like 18-year-old Aretha, and I just kept hearing different versions of the song as I was looking for a band name. And we had this large amalgamation of people that we'd like to play with, and for some reason or another, the name met the people, and it stuck. The name of that song and the name of our band means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Mm-hmm.
And much in the way that I enjoy our collaborative efforts, hearing a different take on every idea that we get, a different take from every band member. The title of the band kind of has the same thing with all of our fans and our friends. People think it comes from one place or another. It means something different to everybody. And it kind of just stuck from there. The band grew after we kept having subs come in and sit in. We play a gig, and another cat would be on the bandstand and say, "Hey man, can I come in and sit in?" So eventually it was like we didn't want to say no to anybody.
Yeah.
So Tim, what I'm hearing is there's a core to the band, and then how many people are in that core, and then some of the band members kind of have a looser relationship with the band, so they can come and go. Is that what the band is about?
Yeah, indeed. There's a long sub list. You know, a lot of our guys are out there. You mentioned Pascal.
Right.
You know, Pascal's out there on the road doing his own thing with Remy, you know, relatively often. So if he can't make the gig, then we call this other cat that was playing keyboards with us. Same thing for the trumpets, for the trombones, for the tuba, for the guitar one, for the guitar two, for the keyboards, for the vocal 1, 2, 3, 4.
How many people are in the core that stays, the nucleus that stays the same?
I'd say like it really at the core of the band, it's kind of that's the core of the band is kind of like the rock band, I guess, element of it. We have I mean it's me and Andrew and Melanie who sings, another guitarist named Andrew as well, has been playing with us pretty much every gig. I'd say that we have a core of probably six or seven that are just about several of the brass guys are pretty much always there. We've got a great tuba player who's on just about every hit with us. So we've got a core probably, I'd say, I don't know, 6 or 7 that are just about always there. And then, I mean, beyond that, we've got another, I mean, it probably expands out to 12 or so that have been there just about since the beginning.
Wow.
And, you know, guys have pretty much everybody in the band plays, you know, some combination of playing, teaching. Everybody pretty much works in music on the playing side full time, but that involves having a lot of different gigs and stuff. So
how would you describe the core mission of the band if somebody were to try to if you needed a new drummer and you were describing your needs to a potential drummer, how would you describe the band, the core elements of what you want to stay part of the recording?
Interesting question.
That's our job.
Hey.
I mean, is there a lane that you're trying to fill? Is there heroes musically that you're trying to respect and take to the next level? How would you describe it?
And we definitely give a good amount of direction to everybody that comes and sits in a particular chair in the band.
Yeah.
But beyond that, we also hire certain guys for certain things. Like if I know I'm going to call this one guy, I know I'm going to get a certain kind of playing, so we might roll a set list around them.
Right.
Or I know that they're going to have a different interpretation to some of our tunes than another guy. Then that's kind of the collaborative effort that we put forth all the time, is not giving too much direction to musicians that we love to play with, because we love to play with them for how they play and their interpretation of the music.
Let me ask the question this way. If you were about to open a record store and you were putting little placards for the different categories that you were filing bands in, what would be the name of the placard that you filed your band's record in?
I would probably put our record in. There
was the answer.
You know what? I love it because this song, I have to say, I'm only familiar with you from this one song, and I really love this song. Changa and I were talking earlier, especially the end. I mean, there's a jam band element. There's a little bit of
Why
a
don't
lot
you
of cool stuff.
tell us about the song, why you chose it, and what you expect to happen. From your guys' perspective.
Well, I think the idea for choosing this particular song is it's a pretty good representation of where the band is right now.
Mm-hmm.
The band. It's a song that's will be included on the full length record that we've got coming out next year, and I think sonically kind of represents like most of the textures that we're kind of using right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have kind of, I guess, to kind of come back a little bit on the original on the first question that you asked, Dave. I think the first EP that we put out definitely would have been in like the blues rock, Americana rock section. That was much. We were kind of starting from that point. And I think that we've maybe gone a little more into like indie rock, indie folk. I think we still have some inroads with blues, more kind of classic rock, but this particular one, I think this new record that we're gonna have out next year, it incorporates some different textures that are maybe I don't know, a little more in the indie world, a little more in the folk world. I think there's definitely overlaps with the jam world as well, and that was kind of, I think it was mostly trying to have all of the things that we think of as Jesus on the Mainline express right now.
And
in terms of all the different sounds.
As the writer and creator, you must take ownership of that thing. And the name of the song is?
It's called Always With Me.
Always With Me. See, I'm the branding guy who has to protect you and make sure. So tell your manager I look out for you and all that stuff. Look, guys, we are, a couple of things just want to say. We meet really cool bands through this process. You guys are in Aaron Bastinelli's spot. He's right to your right, exactly, and he's chilling over there. That's a buddy of ours. And between what Converse Rubber Tracks is doing and what Indaba is doing, they always present to us things that they think are cool. We heard this right away and went, boop, done. Let mic drop. Let's roll. Bunch of cool prizes, bunch of cool opportunity, plenty of time to get into the contest, and then we'll pick later. And then the Master Blaster over here, he'll go through the final batch, and we'll make it a big thing. So once we get through the process, can we periodically just check back in with you and update you, and maybe we'll present the grand prize to the winners together and all that kind of stuff? Would that be cool?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. We would love to do that.
Well,
also, you got my email. Keep me on the mailing list so I can have access to the new record when it comes out. I'm a big fan.
Well, and also if you have a mosh pit at your show, Dave will jump right in that shit and absolutely kill it. He'll crowd surf. Yeah. Tim and Andrew, man, so great to meet you. We're actually going to be back your way maybe the top of December, so we'll let you know. Maybe come through and see it. We have a real good reason to be in Brooklyn, which, by the way, as a hotbed of creativity, Brooklyn is just badass, isn't it?
Indeed.
It's a great place to be.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Thanks for the support. Thanks for letting us mess with you with this thing, and let's be in touch.
Sounds good.
Thank you you guys so much for having us.
Thank
you.
Pleasure.
Cool guys, right?
Real cool.
Yeah. What'd you think of the song?
Man, I love the song.
Yeah.
You know, this is going to be a really cool contest because we've done several different types of songs that kind of test your skills, and this is going to test your skills in a completely different way. If I can give you a food metaphor,
Sure.
some food, it's about the spices and the way it was cooked and all this, and sometimes the food is so good you let the food be the food. This has an organic quality like a Ruth's Chris steak, you know.
Oh, nice. And the title's always on my mind. Is that
Yeah,
the-
always on my mind. So I think this is going to be a hard one.
What I like
be a
about
challenge
them
for
is
our
this
audience.
whole collaborative notion and these different
Yeah.
influences.
A
Really,
lot of
really cool
instruments,
thing.
a lot of, you can't fake your way through this one. You guys are going to have to really work hard on this one. Don't let me down.
Bring the heat. Bring the heat. And let alone the song being cool and the bands being cool, how about the contest prizes? Grand prize winners, Skype call to be on Pensado's Place. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Tascam 2x2. I'm telling you, Tascam is doing some amazing, aren't they?
Their warehouse is empty. They gave it all away in
They
Nashville.
give out so much stuff. And here's the thing about Tascam that you guys should know. At AES, who was in their booth for like 2 hours? Stevie Wonder, picking up Tascam stuff. No joke there. You need to check out what they're doing.
Yeah.
Isotope Neutron, incredible stuff. Isotope Ozone 7, a 1-year Lander subscription and pro status on Indaba. That's for the grand prize. Second place, Tascam TH-MX2 headphones, another Lander subscription for 1 year. Audionamics perpetual license. We love Audionamics. We
I
love
just
their
used
stuff.
it. I
Did you just use it on something?
Yeah, on the mix I did in Nashville.
Oh, cool. They are good things. Pro status on Indaba, and the third place, another Lander subscription, more Audionamics, another pro license on Indaba Music. All really good stuff.
Great
You
stuff.
want to get involved in this. I think last time we had some incredible stuff. So let's get to the details. One more time, pay attention. Contest starts November 1st, open for submissions until November 29th. Voting will take place from November 29th to December 13th. Winners will be announced December 27th. So see this URL right underneath me? That's where you go to enter, sign up, get involved, become a hero, become a giant, get on our show, do it. As Dave said, and Master Blaster's telling you, this one's going to challenge you. This is for the...
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
But it'll be a bunch of fun, right?
Yeah.
So very cool. Thank you, Indaba. Thank you, Converse. Thank you, Jesus on the Mainline.
Yep.
And audience, don't let us down. We know you're going to kill.
Yeah.
To this week's episode, right? Nashville, satisfactory again. You stayed down there longer than us. But how about Gear Expo? Wasn't it a great day?
You know what?
May have been our best.
Yeah.
May have been our best.
Hard to say, you know. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And it's always good to see the crowd. That crowd that comes down there, they tend to drive a little bit. The
best.
They're just really good.
Oh, my
really
God.
good.
It's so good.
The venue, everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was a great day for weather, which last year we had rain. This year it was wonderful. A little chilly, but it was cool.
You know, one of my favorite things was when we took that break and I walked around to all the vendors.
I did the same thing. And it was so cool,
so
right?
cool, yeah.
The whole thing has just got, like, the vibe is really pleasant and people are pulling for each other. There's kids there, there's ladies there, there's men there.
Well, if it's an event of ours, it's going to be great. So we're splitting hairs, but they're all different, you know. They're all different. One's a blonde, one's a brunette,
That's
one's
right.
a redhead.
But they're all cute.
Yeah, they're all cute.
They're all cute.
And smart.
And smart. Look, it was a great day. Vintage King was humming. As Dave said, people came from all over, all kinds of vendors. We thank you so much for coming down. It was great to meet you all. They're all spread throughout the lot. We had a radio station broadcasting on location live, Cuban food, and we had barbecue and tons of giveaways. David Plataleros did a performance. We'll post that on
cool.
Facebook for you. He did it with some folks involved with Chesney and Tim McGraw. And it was just a blast. A quick shout out to Chevy Shovlin and Stephanie Spitfire
Chevy.
Willis, my co-producers in pulling this off. You absolutely kicked butt. What was your favorite panel? I had a couple.
You know what? You know, I might surprise you.
I don't think you
I
will.
like the writers panel.
Oh, nice.
I did because I mix records for a living.
Right.
And if I understand some of the elements of how a writer constructs a song, I might maybe apply the mix techniques in a way that can amplify those techniques. And the whole point is to come up with something that the end listener is going to get an emotional reaction to. So I love that. I'd be less than truthful if I didn't say that the engineer panel was special,
Yeah,
but they always
absolutely.
are to me. And
The cool gigs was
the cool jobs, the opportunities. I
cool.
thought that was probably one of the most important panels we've ever done.
I think that's true.
The importance of that can't be understated.
So here's the fun part. And also, I mean, we had different Meet the Makers, but the Tascam boys, I don't. Do they have any inventory left? They brought everything.
Oprah had to drop by and give pickup trucks away because nobody could carry all this stuff by themselves.
I mean, we had a lot of things we gave away, and
know.
Isotope stepped. So many people stepped
Big
up.
old speakers and stuff.
But Tascam is making a commitment to give you tools that you can utilize, and we have been very impressed so far.
They're playing Major League Ball here.
They're playing big time ball.
Yeah.
You'll meet the maker. So, without further ado, here's the producer and engineers panel, and a Meet the Maker, and enjoy. So let me introduce you to a bunch of folks. DJ Swivel is coming off of working with Chainsmokers and Beyonce and a bunch of stuff. There's our guy. That's a photography shooting dude right there, man. He is a complete badass. Swivel, you here? You paying attention? Come on, we're going to teach you how to do this. Yeah, focus. So that's DJ Swivel. Give him a round of applause. Eric Valentine, another rock legend from LA, has done amazing things. You should see the Drumbella, incredible. At this end, Scoop Blanton. When we first came to it could be Motown. We first came to Nashville, which is the country Motown, or Motown's the R&B. Yeah, exactly. Brett was introduced to us. This is one of the best front of house guys in the game. He does front of house for Lady Antebellum. Another guy who just has an amazing heart. Give a round of applause to Brett Scoop Blanton. Scoop. And the aforementioned and always famous Chris Lord Algie. Everybody give a round of applause.
More torture. All right.
So let's get to some information. You get to a certain point in your career, you get to mix with and produce and work with the big boys. Scoop, from your standpoint, Lady Antebellum, which has just such an incredible live show, and in your hands is the power to make sure that show is effective or screwed up. That's something that you, just as a professional, you have to almost become part of the band and their psyche. Is that correct? Explain how it works in your world.
I think there's more to it too. You got to become part of the audience. You know, I think you got to know where your artist is, but really having the mother and daughter be able to rock out in the audience, but still say, "Wow, this is special," I think is part of it. And I think the records say the same kind of things. They get people involved. So I think if you push it too hard one direction, you lose a lot of people here, and the artists really and the songs really say all that same stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a really salient point, because if it doesn't work for the audience, then you're not really getting it across for the
Well,
band.
you're going to lose those people. We want them to come back to the next show,
Absolutely.
buy the next record.
How did you start doing this?
I started off being a studio kid, you know, serving coffee and sweeping floors. I think like everybody should probably do at some point. And asking a lot of questions and having a lot of people, you know, friends and professionals that were willing to give back like this same venue is, that just kind of encouraged me and celebrated the things I did wrong and pulled the rug out from under me when I did something wrong. And I'm glad that this still exists. So that's how I really started engineering and getting into the live thing. The studio business got a little slow for me for a while, and the guys that I had in my house band when I had a production studio on Music Row, I ran into them all at a bar one night, and they said, "Well, we're all going on the road with a Sony artist next week. Can you do live sound?" And I'm like,
"Hell yeah,
sure." And I didn't have a clue.
That's how I got in the band.
Yeah. So really, I was fortunate enough to cross paths with some really great guys that I really value as friends now, but rather than giving me a bad rep early on, kind of invested in me. So here I am now, yeah.
So Chris, and again, everybody up here has worked with like cream of the crop folks. Don't you still have to stay curious and evolve? Like you can't just relax because you got there. Is that fair?
You can't relax ever.
Yeah.
As soon as you relax, somebody else is going to take the chair away from you. as I think everyone out there should feel the same way. Is like whoever's going after it harder is going to win, and doesn't matter what kind of gear you have. It's just what kind of drive you have. I mean, and what you're looking for out of your ears. So, you know, I always look for the conscientious people out in the crowd. You know, the ones that are aggressive, want to get right in your face. Whoever's going to push through the crowd for the selfie usually is the one that's going to push through the crowd with the mix to win. So, you know, I like that kind of attitude, like that kind of aggression. You know, we're in a business where being shy is going to do nothing but put you at the back of the line. So, I mean, there's a way to be aggressive without being an asshole, and that's the big balance to do. It's like be cool but in their face as much as possible.
Man, that's a lesson right there. I've learned so much from that man. Swivel, how much importance do you place on the charts? Do you pay attention to it? And if you do, what do you get from it? And if you don't, why don't you need it?
I mean, I do now, but I never really. I just make music to make music. I didn't get into it for any other reason than it's the only thing I enjoy doing. I wake up and I breathe music, I sleep music, I eat music. So I didn't really care about the charts, but you know, the charts are influence my taste. So obviously, I want to work with the artists who I enjoy, and I sort of took that path.
Don't our clients need to know a little bit about what's on the charts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care. Like, for me, I'd rather just do my own thing. As far as the clients, like, a good you can get 20 different good mixes, and it comes down to taste, I think. So I try not to pay attention to what everyone's doing.
It's hard not to.
I mean, you get little tips, but trying to copy what somebody else is doing isn't the way to be unique, though.
My friend Eric Valentine on the end. Eric, the 3-snare video that you did with the 3 different types of wood with Aaron was a game changer. How much time should we spend as mix engineers, A/Bing and testing and that sort of thing? You do it really well, and I learned from your videos. Should that be incorporated in all our techniques?
It's an important balance. Different artists have a different amount of, patience and time that they're willing to spend, chasing sounds. I've worked with a lot of different people. Some people love that chase, and they're willing to do it all day, and so it takes a second to sort of get to just understand, like, really what is going to be the best for a particular artist. When I was working with Slash, he loves guitar sounds, but he doesn't have a huge amount of patience to sit there all day and compare 5 different microphones and different cabs and all of this stuff. Like, he loves to play guitar, and he wants to get to that part of it. I have other artists early on when I worked with Third Eye Blind on their first record. That guitar player loved chasing guitar sounds, and so we'd experiment with all kinds of different amps and try different stuff, and it was a really important part of the process for him. So it really just depends on the sort of like endurance and patience of the artist that I'm working with, how much they'll really benefit from that. I have an extraordinary endurance for chasing sounds. And so I try to temper that a little bit and accommodate the artist, but I'll do it for days, I'll lose my mind with it. But, and it's paid off for me at times, but I think there's also times you can really get lost in it and lose sight of the things that are really, really important, like, is there a great song? Are there great performances?
Great answer.
Scoop, is live the career path from this point forward, or are you doing other
So
things?
last month I opened or kind of released a small local sound company.
Oh, cool.
Bought a trailer. Nobody beat me before I did it and said this might be a bad idea, but what the hell?
Congrats.
Well, a couple years ago, I needed an assistant around to help me out with some stuff, so I started investing in a kid, and all he really ever wanted to do was go on the road. But I needed a guy with some studio chops, too, so we raised him there a little bit and raised him live a little bit, and he went on tour this year. Nice. So now I need a new minion. No. Alex, hi, raise your hand.
Where's Alex?
Alex is helping
Come up
out
here, Alex.
a little bit.
Just stand in front of the stage.
He's a Belmont guy. And anyway, just trying to pay it forward to the next generation and some kids that want to learn. So
come up here really quickly, Alex, because I just want to underscore a point. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no problem. So trying to grow new kids there. Also, with new musicians and new acts out there, large sound companies, it's financially not in their best interest to plant seeds.
Right.
In my opinion, in the big corporate game, if you don't plant the seeds, you don't have any mid-tier that's going to become your upper tier. So in talking with some of the, the Ken Porters and the Dave Shadones, the large sound company guys, I tell you what, guys, I'm going to take a little bit of that financial burden on myself, and I'm going to plant some seeds, so that when kids come along that are worth believing in, you've got your retirement plan,
Right, exactly.
and one day I will too.
Right.
So trying to forward that. Also, I think the organics in live records is really getting ready to change Nashville too. I'm sure you're seeing a lot more live stuff stuff that's happening organically. So even though it's a smaller technology footprint and not particularly the best sounding, however, now some of these smaller acts are able to capture their shows multi-track, and then they can go tool on it, retweak it, edit, overdub, fix vocal, whatever they want to do, which keeps my studio in business a little bit too. But they're able to release some heartfelt, some emotional material for a change, not something that's so manufactured.
So the reason I have him up here is because we believe two things really strongly. One, you can learn from legends, and you also can learn from young guys young gals who get ahead of the game. So don't just talk to these guys. Talk to him. Talk to Chongor. Talk to Cam. How did they get in that position? What did they do? Because they really represent where you are. A lot of them are your age. A lot of them have just done the kind of grit that he's talking about. So when you see him go back, you're about to hit stardom. Are you ready? You all right? Congratulations. Welcome. Look, you got a badass mentor. So it's Alex? Alex? That's your last name? What's your last name? Maynard. Alex Maynard? So Alex Maynard is going to go back into the crowd, and when we're done, just hit him with questions. Just grab him. Thank you, Alex. Congratulations. Your work looks good. Eric, in your life and in your business, the console business, is it just your love of the craftsmanship? Is it your never-ending search for sort of audio perfection? Or
Yeah.
money? All those.
No, it's all really inspired by a desire to push things forward. When you talk about evolving, that was a big part of it for me. I reached a point where I was just unsatisfied with the console options that were available. Vintage ones were too hard to maintain. New ones were just expensive and had too many features that I didn't use. And so I went down the path of building the console. And one of the things that I learned along the way was there's potentially a technological advantage to building a console. I think we built one that does some really extraordinary things, and that's great. But the thing that ended up being more important about it for me was what it does psychologically. That I invested a huge amount of time, probably 3 or 4 years of my life, developing the circuitry and conceptualizing this console that I truly believed was going to be the best sounding analog console ever built. And so now when I sit down at that console, I carry that belief with me into that process, that I'm expecting that when I work on this console, it's going to be better than the stuff that I did before, because there's a better tool than I had before, and I built it to be that, and I'm very invested in it being that for me. And so you sort of work to that end. And so when I'm sitting in front of the speakers, if I don't get to a point where I feel like this is better than work that I've done in the past, then I'm not done, because this console should make that happen for me. It's a very powerful psychological influence in the process that ended up being hugely valuable for me. Yeah.
Well said. All of us in various interviews have gotten the question, what was your first aha moment? Okay, my question is, what was your first oh shit moment? Chris.
Oh shit, huh? Right now, huh? You want that now, huh?
Yeah.
Rockstar stories.
I think my first oh shit moment was when I erased Simpty off a couple of tapes and thought I could just restripe it and it would lock perfectly. And it didn't work out that. No, it was living in America, and I had a master, and I made a new slave with all the comp tracks on it, and decided to restripe them both at the same time. And I thought, this will just make it better, because I was having issues and dropouts, and I thought it would fix it. Yeah, it took me forever to keep them locked, and the oh shit was like, I think oh shit really teaches you that you never learn anything from your success. You only learn it from your mistakes.
Swivel, what's your moment? Sorry, Chris.
Oh, man. Well, I was asked to, I was in the studio, we were working on Beyonce's album, and she was having her live DVD, the I Am World Tour mix, and the mix came back, and she didn't like it. And so the production company said, Swiv, you can mix it, right? It's like, okay, cool. When's it needed by? Yeah, you have 2 days. And I don't know if anybody's ever mixed like I've never mixed surround sound before, ever. I'm just like trying to figure this out right now. And I had 2 days and we lost like half the audio. Like all the crowd mics we had to re-record crowds. Like literally we brought people into the studio at MSR. She just said, I said, let's invite everybody in. We got 200 people in there and we just screened it and filmed and we just recorded crowd noise in the studio to like supplement what was missing. So it just turned into, a 40-hour session with no sleep and
Eric?
Yeah.
I think mine's probably similar to Chris. We're both from the era of analog tape machines, and there is no undo button on the analog tape machine. And I was recording a jazz fusion record with a guy named Tom Coster, and we were tracking drums with Dennis Chambers, and the music is inconceivably complicated, like it's time signatures like 13/16 and all this bizarre stuff that I'm trying to keep up with and
real toe tapper.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're trying to have me punch in drum performances, and I had a moment where you lost track of something and punched in the middle of a drum take that everybody loved, and oh boy,
Herb, what was yours?
Oh shit.
In your next scoop.
In the management days when I had an artist pissed because I took a limousine to the airport and he didn't get a ride to the airport. He had a different car. I won't name his name. And so in front of American Airlines counter number 2 at LAX, he proceeded to get in my face in ways that literally you have to make a decision about jail or not. And I sort of had to take it because I was coming up as a record executive and I'm flying back with this platinum group to New York. And he just kept going and going and going. And I finally leaned into him really closely like this. And I said, in about 30 seconds, I'm going to hit you in the throat so fucking hard that your career is going to die. So make a decision right now. And he went, oh. And I went, oh, shit. Like, I got away with it. And then I went and called the president, like a punk of the record company. I said, I don't want to fly with him, and this, that, and the other. He just listened. I went, oh, this is bullshit. And I was whining. He said, you done? And I was like, yeah. He said, get on the plane and go do your job. And I did my job. So that was my ocean. Well, I have several of them. Scoop, what about you?
Yeah,
Live,
Scoop.
It must be.
I'm gonna put it a little more current, than maybe my first time, because it's definitely the largest oh shit moment that I've had. No, but it was last year. If I want to put it for real, we were in Virginia, and I was on a Digico SD5 as my live console of choice the last couple of years. It is a really awesome product. For a lot of different reasons. Anyway, as with all technology, it's got its limitations. And we have synapses here that I'll consider technology there as well. So anyway, I've got the artists behind me so PA's out on the stage, and they're out behind me in the audience, and I'm pushing about 102 dB for an acoustic set, so it's 3 open vocals and an acoustic guitar. If you've ever put a microphone in front of a speaker, you realize this is a delicate balance, especially when it's moving large volumes and long throws, and they're right in the middle of my longest throw area. And just before the previous song ended, I got a little error message on the screen, and it said a product that this desk is using, which will remain nameless for now, is not working correctly. Okay. Not cancel, and not yes or no, just okay. Well, I didn't know what was going to happen after the okay, but I knew I probably didn't need to press that yet. Still had control of the console, and anyway, long story short, when I rolled into the next scene, which muted the band and left my artists out here on stage, correct, they're talking, and at this point, all control of the console goes away. No faders, no mutes. I don't have any control of if something is going wrong. That was stable. It was fine. But now what? Because the next thing when they walk off stage, the band's supposed to start again. Well, there's a little red button on the back of the desk that you can press that allows it to continue to pass audio while it reboots. How long that'll take, or if it actually works, we'd never really tested. So what I should have done in that situation was turn the DSP over and caught the monitor console mix, and shipped it out at front of house. Separate system. We had never tested that system either, and that was the oh shit. Like, well, something here is going to have to give. Anyway, as the band, as the artists are walking off of the B stage, we pressed the red button because the console didn't want to come back to life. And at this point, the band starts playing on stage, at which there's no band because we're not in that scene. And so all that's happening on stage is the drum sub, which thank goodness was loud as shit, is pumping, and it was enough to direct audience attention to the stage. Vocals still worked, so they could talk to the audience, and they had ears which sounded like the band. Right. But the audience didn't hear the band. They heard them talking, heard Dave's acoustic, and they heard this drum sub. Like, what's going on? About the time the band dropped in, the console came up right in time with the song change, and it was longest probably 2 minutes of my life. Yeah, but the oh shit moment wasn't that the technology is going to oh shit. We know that that's going to happen. The oh shit moment was have a plan B, a plan C, and test it. Know where you're going to go if you have to go somewhere, so that you don't lose any more hair than I've already lost.
Right. That's great. So what does Skio do, DJ? Swivel.
So Skio's a company I started with a group in Vancouver about 18 months ago. We do basically scalable music licensing, and we sort of looked at what are the problems that producers have now, and the whole SoundCloud era, people are making records differently. It's not how it was in the 90s or 80s or anything like that. People are taking samples or taking other songs, remixing them, flipping them, chopping them up, and making their own like incredible versions of them and putting them out. And then that doesn't really bode well with labels who, you're using their content. There has to be a way to manage licensing. And there's no easy way to do it when lawyers cost a lot of money and it's complicated and you don't know who to call and how to get to the label. So we created a platform where all of the legal gets done. So all of the content on the platform, you can find a song, negotiate a deal, or buy a pre-baked deal and get all the stems, do all the work, all the communication, all the money. Everything happens on one platform. So, yeah, it's cool.
Pretty cool. Technology is always moving forward. Oh, go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
That's a great idea.
Go ahead, brother. The loudness wars. Where do people fall? Eric?
When we're monitoring or when?
Monitoring, yeah.
Usually soft, but sometimes, depending on the genre of music, I like when I'm mixing hip-hop to have the drums loud, like in the beginning, get the drum balance right for 10 minutes and then drop it back down. That's just me.
Eric, what about you?
Yeah, I'm similar to that. I start off loud while I'm getting the drum sound together. I like to be able to feel the low end in the room. Yeah. And then as you get into the more detailed adjustments, final vocal levels, real fine-tuning EQ stuff, then I'll bring the level down, And
then listen once really loud at the end.
I listen as shitty as possible. That's the lowest level I can get away with. So I hear my assistant typing. And then if I listen loud, I find all the mistakes I've made. But generally, that's a good way. The problem you have with hearing is really simple. Once you crank it once, you lose your low-level hearing. So if you're coming in the morning, don't crank it right away. Stay low as long as you can. Because once you get up there, your ears have already gotten shaved off, so your detail listening starts to fade. So it's best to milk the low-level stuff as long as you can, and then once you go loud, you got to stay there.
So where do you listen when you come out of the studio? Do you listen in the car? Do you go home? Where do you reference out of the studio? Do you reference when you come out of the studio? Yeah. Eric?
Car.
Yeah. How about you, Swift?
Car, so even just earbuds. I go to the gym and just listen in the gym. Get on the treadmill. And
how about you, Chris?
Vintage King.
Ah, there you go.
VK. Yeah.
Also, one thing I'll say on that is a lot of times I'll listen and just, if I have to do laundry or do chores around the house, I'll put the song on and just put it on loop and not even pay attention to it. And then I'll start to hear the problems just naturally. It'll just sort of pop in. So
interesting. Scoop, any
Well, there's plenty of studio answers here, and I think that I probably share parts of that. If I leave it on around the house and I forget that I'm hearing it after a while, then I don't go change anything. If I listen across the room and all I hear is 250 poking out, I'm like, okay, crap. Might as well stop it now before it drives me crazy. In the live sound environment, I noticed that almost always I'm a little congested in the morning. So we've got lots of RTAs and computerized tools and stuff that help us analyze sound, whatever that is. But Yeah, on my lake, I've got a couple overlays, and one I tune to pink noise and get a curve, and one I tune to white noise every day and get a curve, and then the third one's like whatever I feel like it sounds like. And I put that in its own bit because once I get to showtime, man, maybe I've had a really good conversation with the girl on the phone that day, and I feel great, and all the congestion's released, or maybe I've got some stress about a session, or whatever. And I may find that if I just drop that overlay out, well, you know what? The computer was right.
Right.
Most of the time, computer wasn't right. The way I felt about it was, but
I got a
louder or
question for you,
softer.
Scoop.
Yeah.
When you're doing your job, how often are you listening to the mains? Because that's going to be pretty loud. And are you mixing mostly through headphones? And if you're mixing through headphones, what kind are you using?
At a show? Are you talking about a live scenario?
A live show.
A live show. I've got near fields that I just pop things in and out of, so I don't have to jump to cans. I'm a shamelessly Sony 7506 can fan. Live, I was a V6 guy, but I'm a 7506 guy. I'm on the mains all the time. I'm mixing a show.
How can you hear the mains and still keep working? Because that's pretty loud.
It's pretty loud.
So,
I mean, my peak show peaks out at 102. Like realistically, compared to a lot of shows I go to, I'm not really loud. And honestly, Chris came to a show. Yeah.
Your shows are great. I give you a lot of credit because I had to do front of house right here at the Mercy Lounge one night, and I was terrified.
That's a tough room.
All I knew was it was about to feedback and explode as soon as I let go of a fader.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and just getting ready to wrap it up because we have some more gifts. We got another panel. Is there an advantage? We do this on the show. We have an answer for this, but I want to see what you guys' answer is. Is there an advantage to making sure you listen to all kinds of music and that your taste is broad? Does that inform you to do that, or do you get advantages
Is this
from
the
just
quick
mixing?
response? Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. We listen to a lot of different music, and I like classic stuff. You know, the older I get, kind of the more I like kind of what I like.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new, fresh stuff coming on, but like, rare do I hear something. I hear cool stuff come from all of these guys that are different. I don't necessarily like everything that comes out of every place,
Sure.
but there's a lot of inspirational stuff. We have a radio station here called Lightning 100, 100.1, and Sunday nights, I don't really listen to it a lot, but Sunday nights I will listen religiously now when I'm in town. Well, it's cool new stuff,
Yeah.
and it's local stuff, and it's really inspired stuff, and it's not real commercially manufactured stuff. It's cool music again.
Right.
And Esmeralda Spalding, anybody a fan? Man, I heard this
bad.
on Lightning 100 the other week, like game changer. Like I got to get a notepad and go study up on this. It's heavy music. It's heavy production. It's cool. So anyway, yeah, listen across the board. You know, rock your face off. Listen to a Melody Gardot record, man. Like listen to some old Coltrane.
Chris,
Yeah.
what about you? You mixture of stuff? Because you've had a really broad set of things that you've done in your life.
You're talking about listening to music outside of the studio?
Yeah, just for inspiration.
What is
and
that?
Right, exactly.
Okay. Oh, for inspiration, I mean, the best inspiration is Led Zeppelin 1 and 2, or, you know, the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's, or, you know, a record that had more talent involved than it did technology. There was no technology back then. There's any which way we can get it on there. Or how about Good Times by Chic, Bob Clearmountain's entry into the disco world?
Wait a minute. Didn't you do that record?
No.
Yeah, you did. You
Part
did
of
a
it.
secret- Oh, man.
Part of
that's
Rapper's
cheating.
Delight,
That's
maybe,
cheating.
but you know, I really find that what you listen to outside of what you're working on should be completely the opposite. So I prefer to listen to Genesis and prog rock and Steven Wilson outside the studio than something that's exactly the same as what I'm mixing. Because as soon as you listen to anything that's close to what you're doing, you're analyzing it the same way. So, you know, like Eric, you got to listen to some cool stuff, some Pink Floyd, something different.
One of the coolest things, if you watch the Pensado Awards at our website, which has turned into a big deal, Chris is one of our perennial co-hosts, and he was also the winner of the Pensado Giant Award this year. And so as I was putting it together, and I was going through music to introduce him, and it was just such a long list of records that span such a wide array of different genres. I ended up with Tina Turner's Simply the Best to Walking Up on Stage with, which he produced and engineered. And it's just to learn his career that way. There's so many records I thought were cool that I just love that he did. When I tell you that you're sitting up here among greatness, these are some bad boys. This is a bad boy to my left. Swiv, you Beyonce to Chainsmokers, listen to a lot of different things. You work with a lot of different people. Is having that wide swath important?
Yeah, I mean, I listen to everything. I mean, I'll go and put a SoundCloud playlist on or throw Hype M on, and you get every different genre of music now. It's not as segregated as I feel like it used. When I was in high school, it was very segregated. Like, this group listened to this group listened to this. Now everybody listens to everything. So I just, could be a rock song, could be a funk song, it could be, just a pop song, a hip-hop song, some trap stuff, whatever. So yeah, I listen to everything.
Eric, you too?
Yeah. It's part of what keeps things interesting for me. Is just not just working on like alternative rock bands, which is kind of where I started. Being able to work with things as diverse as Nickel Creek to Queens of the Stone Age. That's what makes this interesting to me. If I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, it's hard to stay inspired and passionate about it. And so when I'm listening, and I've actually found that, I think similar to what Chris said, it's a little bit hard. Like if I spend my day, 12 hours in the studio working on music, and in and around that, there's a project I'm finishing, and so I'm listening to masterings of that, or there's a project coming up, and I'm listening to demos of that. There's so much work listening going on. It can be hard to find time to really do casual listening just for inspiration. I'm getting better about that now, and recently had like a big Burt Bacharach binge. I was listening to tons of Burt Bacharach, which is amazing by the way.
Music.
Incredible music. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Valentine, DJ Swivel, Chris Lord-Alge, Brett, Scoot, Blandon. Give them a round of applause. Take a picture and selfie with them. Guys, thank you so much for coming. We so appreciate you. Now, the person responsible for all this Tascam love to my left, Joe Lady. Give him a round of applause. Tascam. Woo! So here's what happened to us, as I've been alluding to. We started talking to you guys 4 or 5 months ago, probably, right? About 3 or 4 months ago?
Yep.
We on there, good. And what I do a lot of measuring of companies by the people, as does Dave. And then I also measure how Dave responds to the product, because that's what he knows more than me. And it was interesting. We had private conversations about this stuff. And his reaction to Tascam in terms of where he started in his business and what they were trying to do and how they were evolving this brand into being current for you guys today made us continue to have those conversations beyond the people.
100% true.
Tascam today, what are you guys doing? Because we think it's amazing.
We have all kinds of stuff. We have Porta Studios is where we started out. We started in the 70s. So kind of the history of the company is we were making reel-to-reel decks. And in the 70s, there was quadraphonic sound was starting to, it was trying to poke its way out. So we started making these 4-track reel-to-reel decks, and musicians started taking them home and using them for multi-track recording.
I did.
Yeah.
Took
So
mine
they could
home.
record a couple
I
tracks.
showed you
and then
pictures of my daughter with mine back in the day, like 20 years
did,
ago.
yeah. So we're still doing that because it's a great tool for songwriters who just, they don't want to have to boot up their computer, turn on the software. What's this error message mean? Let me Google for it, and then you completely forgot about what you were trying to do. Where this thing, you just turn it on and hit record, and you're creative right away.
Another cool thing they did is in their headphones, they taught their headphones to fly. See there?
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. I mean, that's how amazing the company is. The shit actually takes wings and goes. But, so as you see Tascam today, and is it tools for the amateurs to use and build their craft and professionals? Because it seems to me it works for both.
It's all of that, and that's. I mean, I've been there for 13 years, and the reason I'm still interested is because if it was only $6,000 tube microphones, that would be kind of cool, but it would not be as interesting as doing headphones and portable recorders and USB interfaces and all the different types of things, and the 64-track recorders, the entire range. So it's really exciting to just show up every day because there's always something new coming along.
So think about a one-stop where you can go and pretty much get something that's going to serve your purpose from stem to stern, help your craft go forward by people who care about that much. I think you should give something. Wait, Chunger, do we have photography of all this great gear? I think we do. We do? Okay, cool, because they're going to ask me about it later, and I got to show up. Did you guys do a tour of the Gibson bus at all? Anybody go through? Pretty cool, right? Very cool, Gibson. All right, so Joe, who should we give this Tascam Porta Studio to? It's your call.
It's my call?
Yep.
There's this guy right here.
All right. Oh, congratulations, brother.
Really
You scored, man. Don't let me see that shit on eBay. What's it going to be on? Okay, cool. Good.
Excellent.
Oh, good. So, all right, so he's got a radio show, so you'll talk about Tascam on the show? My man.
Yeah.
My man. Oh, see, you're a good choice, Joe. That was very good. We got another one of those. We got some of these. These are the flying headphones. They're going to, you know what? I can't throw them. They will hover at some point in time. When you see them like that, that means they're getting ready to throw. So they're not ready yet. They're going to go in a second. Do me a favor. Think about Tascam. You met the guys. The booth is in the back. We got more stuff to give away. Pensado's Place is really proud of what they're doing. We're going to get behind them and support them and give a round of applause to Joe Lady. Joe, thanks, man. Good stuff? Thanks. Cool, brother. Always good.
Man, good to be home, but what a great time we had. Next week you're going to see the songwriters panel and the cool gigs panel, both of which are man, I liked all three. I can't say one's my favorite. Watch next week. Check it out. We'll see you soon.
See ya.